Hello, my friend, and welcome to Something for Everybody. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Today is a solo episode of the podcast where I'm discussing redemption, the power of showing up, as well as facing our demons and trusting the work. So let's jump right in. Failure, in my eyes, is the refusal to move forward. Failure is the refusal to move forward. So anytime you get knocked down and get back up, it wasn't a failure. It was just a mistake. Not a mistake, miss-take, a mistake. So with that said, don't let past failures, but really past mistakes, keep you from showing up and giving your all. Because resilience means believing in yourself, embracing this next play mentality, overcoming your demons, staying as consistent as possible, and trusting your process. These are core lessons for sport, but more importantly, for our life. They're core lessons for our life if we truly want to be the best version of ourselves in greatest service to the world. So I want you to pick a time in your life where you failed, where things didn't work out. You used your old definition of failure, where you failed or things didn't work out, or you may have had a massive mistake, or you got knocked down, or whatever it is. I want you to imagine that moment in your mind. Let's talk through how to learn from that and better moving forward using this example from sports. So you have your moment in your mind. How can we now grow from that just using this example from a recent sporting event? For example, almost 2 months ago, Jannik Sinner fell apart in the French Open final. 5.5 hours on court, 3 match points lost, and a crushing defeat to Carlos Alcaraz. Now, you may not like tennis, you may not even like sport, but sport is the example we can use on how to propel ourselves forward, to trust the process, to be resilient, to overcome these mistakes and learn from them and become the next best version of ourselves. And so using that example you have in your mind as your way of using this to then apply it to your own life. So then we fast forward to Wimbledon, which just happened, same opponent, same threat of another comeback, but this time when Alcaraz surged in the fourth set, Sinner locked in. He held his ground, won a clutch 4-point stretch, and closed out a game it felt like he had to have. Now, we can all do the same. If Sinner had let the ghost of the French Open or the ghost of a previous mistake or the ghost of a previous failure control him at Wimbledon, or for you, control you at your next, event, outing, presentation, whatever it is, doubt would have beaten him before Alcaraz did, right? How many of you have let doubt beat you before anything else because you're dwelling on that previous mistake or you're dwelling on that previous failure? This is what we can learn from sport, specifically Sinner and his recent tennis win. We can use Sinner as a model for our own life. Sometimes the best thing you can have in sport and life is a short memory. I mean, we think of Ted Lasso. What does he say? Have a goldfish memory, because goldfish have the shortest memory. That's why they're always smiling, right? Sometimes the best thing in life and sport is a short memory, right? We accepted the loss, learned, and moved forward. This is what Sinner said after the French Open. Past is past. You've got to stay in the moment, and consistency is everything. Sinner was back in tournament play just over a week after the French Open loss. He said he had sleepless nights, but getting back on the wagon was key. Yes, we can grieve that loss. We can have sleepless nights. It can be difficult. We can feel those emotions, but we have to get back on the wagon. Any path toward excellence will include ups and downs. That's just part of being a human being in the world. You've got to keep showing up, though. Give yourself a set amount of time to feel your feelings and grieve defeat. That's very important. But then get back to the work itself. It's the best medicine there is. It's a great principle following big wins or tough losses, and it's applicable for all of us, no matter the situation we are in life. Your story gets rejected. Be upset about it for a day or two, right? Something gets rejected. Your story, your thing, your whatever gets rejected. You get rejected. Something doesn't happen. Something doesn't go your way. You did everything right. All these sorts of things. Yes, normal, inevitable part of being a human in this world, especially if you want to do or be anything great, which we're all capable of doing, especially you watching or listening. Be upset about it for a day or two. Then face the blank page. Your story goes viral. right? Celebrate it for a day or two, then face the blank page. Centering yourself in the process prevents you from getting caught up in all the emotions around it. It reminds you, that you actually love the work itself, not the validation you gain from it. It's such an important lesson. Get back to the work itself. Again, you're going to get rejected, right? But how can you rewrite your story? Your story goes viral. Celebrate it for a day or two, right? It doesn't matter, right? Either your story gets rejected, be upset for a day or two, then face the blank page. Your story goes viral. Something goes viral. Something goes well. You win something, whatever. Celebrate it for a day or two, then face the blank page. It's all the same. It's centering yourself in the process prevents you from getting too caught up in all the motions around it, whether it's too high or too low. Like Trevor Moawad says, we stay sort of neutral in this. It reminds you what you actually love is the work itself, is the process itself, right? Not the validation you gain from it. This is such an important lesson. Get back to the work, get back on the wagon, jump on the wagon, regardless of if it's a tough loss or a great win. They're going to happen. All of them are going to happen in sport and life. And so we just get back to the work itself. Sinner, just like any elite performer, and you, right? We can be relentless and intense, right? Every great performer is relentless and intense. And we can develop those same psychological skills in our life too to get the best out of ourselves. It's like watching a killer tennis robot. This is what Sinner is like. I mean, it really is. But it's clear he has deep respect for his opponent, Alcaraz. There was a moment late in the third set when Alcaraz tripped and went down. You could see the concern on Sinner's face. So he's not like this emotionless human being. He cares. He deeply, deeply cares, but he is also relentless and intense, and we can be the same way. Think about the word compete. Compete comes from the Latin root com, C-O-M, which means together, and then petre, which means to rise up. In its truest form, competition is about rising up together. Why is competition so important, especially for young people? Because it brings out the best in us. We rise up together. We understand what our capabilities and our capacities are. We understand also where we fell short. How can we get better? What can we improve upon? And if competing is about rising together, then I do have deep, genuine care for my opponent. Yes, I want to be better than them. Yes, I want to beat them. Yes, I want to get on top and I want to win, but we're still rising up together, because if that person brings their very, very best and I'm bringing my very, very best, we are rising up together, which in its truest form, that's what competition really means. And it's beautiful to think about it that way. Not that I'm trying to destroy this guy. I have to beat this guy. He sucks. He's the worst. No, we don't think about competition like that. We think about rising up together, right? That's why iron sharpens iron. It's true. It's cliche, but it's true, because competition is about rising up together. It's about you making me better, me making me better, right? I don't think of other podcasts as competition. I think, what are they doing that's great that I can learn from them, that I can grow from them? How can I make it my own? Authenticity on this podcast is important, but I also want to see what's working in the podcast space, but not sacrifice my values for something like that. I want to rise up together. I want to bring people up together in this space who are all trying to pass along this great knowledge to make our viewers, listeners, watchers, whatever, make their lives better. That's the whole point. So anyways, bouncing back from a devastating loss takes confidence and self-belief. Again, psychological skills that you can learn and develop over time. You only get that kind of confidence and self-belief from actual credible evidence. All the work you put in, all the experiences, the wins, the losses, they're all deposits in the bank, all pieces of evidence that you've got what it takes, and that it's all backed by what you say to yourself when it matters most. It's all backed by what you say to yourself when it matters most, right? You build that kind of confidence and self-belief from evidence, from credible evidence, right? The most elite performers on the planet do what they say they're going to do. That builds credible evidence that you are who you say you are. Then, when you get to the moments that matter most, it's all backed by what you say to yourself. Because truly, our self-talk and what we say to ourselves is the foundation for our confidence. If we're talking about Latin roots, confidence, the truest form of that word, what that really means is intense trust in oneself. The only way to have intense trust in oneself is credible evidence that you are who you say you are. Then when it matters most, and we get into those quote unquote high pressure situations where something is on the line, our job, whatever the case may be, we have the requisite and credible skills to say what matters most to us, to say something credible. I'm prepared for this moment. I love this moment. I'm here right now. I'm bringing my best energy. Whatever it is, whatever you have earned the right to say to yourself, you can say in that moment because you back yourself up through your self-talk, because self-talk is the foundation for our truest confidence if we want to have this intense trust in oneself. It's built through evidence, then it's backed up by what we say to ourselves when it matters most. It's very important. So on the surface, back to Sinner. Sinner was in control during the Wimbledon final, but zoom in and you'll see it contained countless highs and lows, right? He looked like in control of himself, right? You can't be in control of your performance or anything in life unless you first are in control of yourself, because that's really all you have control over: attitude, effort, response. But inside of that control, you'll see countless highs and lows, which is the same thing that happens throughout any days in our lives, weeks, years, whatever the case may be, right? Because Sinner lost the first set quickly. He could have fallen apart. He could have went right back to the French Open and been like, shit, this is another way. But he stayed patient. He paced himself. He regulated his emotions. He played the long game. Obviously, this isn't just about tennis, right? I told you at the very beginning to think of that moment in your life where you struggled, where you fell down, where you had a failure, where you had a mistake, right? Tennis is just the analogy. It's about our lives. How can you pace yourself, regulate your emotions, play the long game, right? Those are the skills that we want to apply to our life so we can learn and grow and be better in the next time the same situation arises that we pictured at the very top, right? Sports might be the ultimate test in presence, which is the point and why we can learn from it to better our own lives, right? You play hundreds of points. Some are long, some are short. This is in tennis, right? Some go well, others don't. You've got to get over mistakes quickly. Right? You've got to play the point you're in. This is the exact same thing is true in our lives. You've got to get over mistakes quickly. These are mistakes, not mistakes. And you've got to play the point you're in. This is the exact same thing is true in our lives. It's not about the point that just happened. It's not about the point that may happen next, but it's about the point that is happening. Let me say that one more time. It's not about the point that just happened. It's not about the point that may happen next, but it's about the point that is happening now. Think, what's important now? What's important now? When? What's important now? This is the key. The past is the past. The future is unknown. All your agency lies in the moment you're in. What's important now? One thing I think people forget is that excellence means caring deeply. Both Sinner and Alcaraz care deeply. Do you care deeply? Every person I know performing at a high level cares deeply. Nothing about these guys is nonchalant. They love the craft. There's no escaping vulnerability in tennis. And really, if you want to live an extremely fulfilling life, there is no escaping vulnerability. Now, if you want to live sort of a meaningless life, yes, you can escape and avoid vulnerability your whole life, but then you won't build any beautiful, strong relationships. And relationships are the cornerstone of a great life. So there is no escaping vulnerability if you want to be the best version of yourself in greatest service to the world. In tennis, there's no helmet. There's no face masks. There's no curtain to run behind. Just you on a court in front of the world. It's part of what makes sports so inspiring. You only get one go, so you might as well give it all you can. This is life. You only get one go. There's no dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the real deal. You only get one go. We can make the choice to do the same, but success is really giving our best effort. Right? I said failure. My definition of failure is the refusal to move forward. So anytime you get back up and keep moving forward, wasn't a failure, just a mistake. And my definition of success, I just said it here, is giving our best effort. Yes, results matter. Obviously, that's part of success. But when we really drill it down, what success means is giving my best effort. Did I give my best effort? Did I go 100% today? Because this day is all I have. This moment is all I have. This life is all I have. We can make the choice. We can make that choice consciously every day that success is giving my best effort and I'm going all in this moment, in this life, because this is what excellence means. It means to care deeply, right? Excellence isn't about constant confidence, right? Sometimes our confidence will wave, but remember, our self-talk is the foundation for our confidence, which allows it to be more consistent than it otherwise would be. It's not about perfection or being flawless. Excellence is about showing up again and again and again. It's about caring deeply, It's about caring deeply, paying close attention, practicing on repeat, learning from mistakes, staying curious, repeatedly stepping into the arena, and committing to grow. That's true excellence, and we're all capable of it. We are all capable of it. So thank you very much for tuning into this solo episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend. It's the absolute best marketing tool we have on this podcast. So if you think this episode would be valuable to anyone that you know, send them the link, have them join the Something for Everybody community. And I appreciate you very much. Thank you, and lots of love. Thank you very much for tuning into that episode. And if you enjoyed it, click right here for another full-length episode of the podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe. But most importantly, above all else, please take good care of yourselves and others. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers.